Welcome to the Innovation World Podcast, your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Well, thank you for joining the Innovation World podcast series. I am Julie Shively from Innovation World, and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Jake Mendelson.
Hello.
Jake, hello.
Hello.
And Jake is from inventfuture.global and the Global Innovation Field Trip and sometimes Innovation World Alliance.
Yeah, actually, this is going to be a very depressing podcast for me because I'm used to being the most intelligent, the best looking, the most clever, and I can see I have real competition here tonight. So it's going to be tough.
Okay. A few reminders about what's going on right now. Innovation World just finished the April 17th, 18th Global Innovation Field Trip last week. In fact, we already have published some of the recordings. About half of them are up there on the Global Innovation Field Trip website. Just go to the homepage, click on the April event, and you can check out some of the podcasts, and we'll have more, probably finish those up this weekend. It was a wonderful event. I think we are up to, I saw the news, we're up to 40 countries now that have participated in the field trip, and we're really excited about that. We hit our 1-year anniversary, and that was a great way to mark the anniversary. So our next Global Innovation Field Trip, or the GIFT as we affectionately call it, will be July
10 and 11.
10th and 11th. And we are already taking signups for that event. So if you have something to share, something you've innovated, or a program you want to share that promotes or inspires K-12 innovation, please write to the Global Innovation Field Trip or sign on to the globalinnovationfieldtrip.org and fill out a presenter form. We'd be happy to have you. Also, Innovation World has their National Innovator Challenge going on right now, and registration is open until May 31st, and all innovators are welcome from the US for this particular competition. And top innovators will advance to the Global Innovation Challenge that is hosted by inventfuture.global. And let's see, this year we're accepting applications for prototypes, apps, or ideas. So any one of those can bring you into the competition. Jake, I know you want to say something.
It's student innovators. You just kept saying innovators. It's students.
K-12 students for the National Innovator Challenge. Yes, very good. Thank you. And I think that's it on the updates for right now. Any other updates you want to talk about, Jake? Oh, wait. What can you tell us about the summer challenge that's getting ready to launch in a couple months?
Yeah, we're working on it. It's going to be the third and fourth weeks of July. It's going to be called the Food Challenge. It's based on our lessons that we learned in the Water Challenge, and it's going to be fantastic. We don't quite have the information released, but we will hopefully this week, and it'll be quite exciting. I hope.
So when you say the Food Challenge, are you talking about a cooking contest, Jake?
No. We are basing these challenges on the United Nations Sustainable Development Growth Goals. The Water Challenge was drinking water, and that was based on number 6. And this one is number 2, which is food and nutrition. And we're looking at this from a worldwide perspective. There'll be students from literally all over the world working together in teams to do research and then come up with a solution to some of the global food and nutrition issues that exist around the world.
And generally, those programs run somewhere between 9-year-olds all the way through high school.
9 to 18.
9 to 18 years old. And so if you're in the United States and you're interested in participating, you can reach out to info@innovationworld.org. If you're in a country other than the United States, go out to the inventfuture.global website and send them a note through their contact form, let them know, and they'll connect you with the organization that you'll want to work with to be a part of that and sign up. Yeah. Okay, very good. So tonight we have some very special guests that we're so excited. We've been waiting for this podcast for a while. And actually, it was probably the most difficult podcast we've had to organize because of just the different time zones that our guests are all in. and to get them all in one place, because at this age, they're super busy doing everything. We have with us tonight our inaugural teen panel from the Global Innovation Field Trip that took place in January. We've got them, most of them, back together this evening to kind of talk about what they're doing, who they are, where they are, what they're doing, and what they're going to do going forward, either together or separately. We'll see how that discussion goes. But I would like for each of you to have an opportunity to introduce yourself, talk about where you're from, maybe what school you're going to, and then we'll talk a little bit more as a group. So Artash, do you want to start off?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the introduction. Hey to everyone who's tuning in. I'm Artash from Toronto, Canada. I'm a grade 9 student, and I'm super interested in technology and using technology for good. Specifically, I'm really into the field of machine learning, data science, space exploration, climate change. And over the past years, I've worked and participated in over 50 different projects related to these topics. So I'm super excited to further my learnings and bring this to the next level, especially on the global scale, by doing things like this.
Nice. Thank you very much. Kathy, would you like to go next?
Of course. Hey everyone, my name is Kathy, and I am also a grade 9 student from Toronto, Canada. I was part of the team panel in January as well as April last week, which was absolutely amazing. I was very honored, and of course, I learned a lot from those both sessions. And I am also a very passionate environmentalist. I've worked on a project on my own that I've presented at the Global Innovation Field Trip as well. And currently I'm working on an environmental project as well with my friend. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. And yeah, just very excited to be back on this podcast again. Thank you. And to talk with my colleagues from the team panel.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. Rishit?
Yeah. So good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing great. I'm Rishit Sharma, and I'm from India, and I'm a grade 9 student. My school is HAPS, which is in Himachal Pradesh, a lovely state of India. And I love to participate in such like great events like Teen Panel, and I love to be a part of this event. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Samyak?
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Samyak Shamali. I'm in 10th grade. I'm from Portland, Oregon, United States of America. I'm an avid researcher, innovator, and activist. I've worked in the fields of artificial intelligence and system design. And in my free time, I love to play basketball and swim.
Okay, well, my first thought was at your age, I was probably playing softball. And that's probably what was available to do at your age when I was in my teens. And I think it's incredible to listen to all of the things that you're doing. And each of you are doing some pretty interesting individual things that even the others aren't doing. And I just, it's really exciting what's available out there to do, or maybe it's not available and you're seeking it out on your own. You should be very proud of yourself, each one of you. I'm curious, way back, and I think that Kathy and probably Artash, I think were the first signups for the teen panel. We had hoped to do it like in our October gift, and I think you both signed up, and we thought, well, we can't just do it with 2 Canadian students. We needed some other students. And by the way, I wanted to say there are a couple panelists that are missing tonight. Emily Louise from Chile and Natalie, I think, from China. Those were the other 2 members that made up that original panel. But so I'm kind of curious as to what drew you to the opportunity to start with. And I think I'd like to ask Kathy and Artash first, just because I think they were the very first signups, and we had to postpone until we found more students from other countries to participate with you. So whichever one of you want to start with that question, I'd love to hear your answer. Oh, you're both so polite. Kathy?
Yeah, sure. So when I heard about this like opportunity, it really immediately caught my eye just because um, it just felt like such a new experience that could really also further my learning about kind of the global community as well. It sounded very cool because I would be talking to teens around my age from all over the world and seeing kind of their ideas as well and what they're working on. And I thought that was just like such an amazing and also a new experience for me. Just talking, because I don't think I've ever gotten the opportunity to talk to students from so many countries. That was kind of really what drew me in. So.
That's great. For me, in the past, I've had a lot of experience, I guess, talking to adults and participating in and presenting about my projects in different places. But I never really heard of a teen type of panel where teens talk together about global issues because in the global framework, mostly it's always been okay, adults focus on the global issues, kids focus on school. But this was definitely a great opportunity to flip the roles around this time and have students try to work on these and try to think of solutions to these global problems instead. And COVID 19 is a very much active topic right now. We're still in the midst of the pandemic. So it's really be interesting to be able to talk to other panelists. Another thing that really drove me to participate in this is that myself, I only have experience of how the COVID 19 pandemic has been from here in Toronto. But I think everyone in the world has different experiences of how they dealt with COVID 19 and what are the new problems they've been seeing in their community. So I really want you to understand everyone else's perspective, especially from people my age around the world about what COVID 19 has done right now.
Very well. Samyak, do you have any thoughts on, and do you recall what you first felt about the opportunity or what drew
Yeah,
you?
so yeah, definitely. So I think what really drove me into joining the teen panel was the opportunity to meet other teens like me and other researchers, other innovators. And I think that really stuck with me and like struck to me at the time because this opportunity would help anyone just grow to the next level and really help them reach their full potential. And I was also looking for an opportunity to talk with other people like me about global issues like COVID 19 or education during COVID 19 or just other issues and learn to collaborate and come up with solutions to solve these issues, which could also develop my innovative mind while also getting to learn new skills like teamwork and collaboration with others.
Very nice. And Rashid?
Earlier, I wasn't aware of such things like gift and like team panel. As you know, would be knowing the founder of Makers Dunia, the organization. Pratik sir once messaged me like he said, I want you to participate in this and represent India. I was like literally shocked because I haven't attended such like events. Then I told him like, yes, I would attend. And that time for me, teen panel would be like teens discussing, and it was like really amazing for me to be a part of it because earlier I haven't been a part of such event. Other events I have participated, but this drove me in because, like Artash said, because we have heard like adults talking about issues, but we haven't heard teens talking about issues. Because I believe we need to also like think about the issues because now the adults are facing, but soon we would be facing them too. So I think discussing about them at this age would be like appropriate.
Yeah. When we first started talking about this, I think we started talking about it maybe last July and then tried to kind of make it happen in October, and it finally came to fruition in January. We talked about the fact that we're going to hand everything over to you so soon. And if we can help try to, any way we can help try to prepare that next generation to come in and take over, we wanted to do. I mean, if in 2 years, GIFT was totally run by people your age, we will have succeeded in what we want to do and how we want to help shape things before we're too old to help shape them anymore. Um, One of the things that I've learned personally over working with a lot of the Invent Future global folks out there, the Aaron's and the Pratiques and all the different folks that I get to work with on a weekly and monthly basis, is there are fewer misconceptions when I have friends across the world. So we may start thinking that things are one way in the United States, but they're oh so different, in India or in Canada or in China or anywhere else. And once you have friends in those spaces and you're learning from them all of the time, you can easily kind of get rid of some of those misconceptions because you have a close contact in that area. So I was kind of curious as to when you met each other and met for that first time, and maybe it took a little longer, maybe it was after your first panel, what surprised you the most, or maybe what misconception did you find that, that's not the case, it's really not like that there? I mean, just what did you learn, I guess, after knowing each other that you hadn't known before?
I guess I can start off. Actually, I thought one thing that really surprised me was actually the similarities between all of us and the things we've experienced, for example, since COVID-19 has started and kind of our experiences with learning at home. It was actually, I was very surprised to see that a lot of our experiences or perspectives actually overlapped, and how the way we thought about education actually was really similar. So that was actually what surprised me a lot, the similarities between our ideas actually and our experiences and perspectives.
Nice. Anybody else have thoughts on that?
I thought it was interesting to see. Maybe this was not completely unexpected, but when I tune into the news, for example, I always see people with drastically different opinions, like far right or far left, for example. But in terms of when I talk to my fellow students here, I realized that even though our opinions differ in a lot of things, I remember that after the first panel, when we got comfortable with each other, we started disagreeing a lot more. And while we did disagree, there was still a component of mutual understanding among everyone. Just an example, as students, we know climate change is a real thing. So while we didn't agree on everything, we had a basis of facts that we could work from. And I think that's something that's really important because it allows for an actual discussion, not just a fully baseless argument.
That's very insightful. We have a government over here that you could come teach that to, please. Find the commonalities to move forward. Any other thoughts?
I think one thing. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think one thing that really stuck out to me was like the way we bonded with each other, because only after one meeting we felt like we already knew each other a lot, and in gift we performed at an exceptional level with our discussions and with just getting the time to really come up with solutions, with come up with problem statements. I think just like the state of bonding that we had after our first meeting or after a couple of meetings was completely different than I'd imagined. I thought that maybe after one or two meetings, we would start to get to know each other a little better. But just after the first meeting, we felt like we were all really connected, and we were all having that level of connection where we can talk together and we can converse together.
It looks like Emily is joining. Emily Louise, hi. we'll let you catch up with us a little bit, Emily Louise.
Sorry for the time, is that my computer was closed and I had put the calendar, it didn't make the noise, anything. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, we've just been having a discussion on kind of how the group felt about what led them to join the first teen panel, and kind of what their feelings were after that, or whether they had any surprises, or relieved of any misconceptions about other countries and other people, I guess, by being part of the teen panel. But before we ask you any of those questions, I guess I'd like to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell everyone where you're from.
Hello, my name is Emily Louise Serrandour. I was born in Belgium and I live in Chile. I will be representing Chile in this panel along the way. That's what the country I was representing. Yeah, I guess that would be it, really.
Okay, thank you. So I was wondering if, Jake, you had something you were going to say earlier. Did you still have a question?
Well, yes, I'm very interested in people's responses to things. My wife was cooking something the other day and she had a pot and she put the whole pot in the oven. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. And anyway, she took it out and she asked me to bring it to her, and I just grabbed the pot. And of course, it was hot and I got burned. I now have realized I am afraid of the pot. I know it sounds, so my question is, we've all undergone a traumatic experience with this COVID. How do you think it has changed you, for good or for bad? And how do you think it has changed your generation, for good or for bad?
One thing I've seen, I think that's definitely a really valid point of what the COVID-19 pandemic has done to us mentally. But even after this pandemic is over, even after I get a vaccine, for example, when I go out to a restaurant, I'd still feel very nervous without a mask, because we're so used to it, right? But another thing that we have to take into account is that the pandemic hasn't been going on for such an extensive period of time. So it started last year. It's been 1 year, but already our habits have really changed. So I think if our habits can change from non-COVID to COVID, they can also change it back to non-COVID if the COVID-19 pandemic comes to an end soon, because humans are still very adaptable. We can get used to environments fairly quickly and adapt very quickly. So I think even though there will be some experience of getting nervous with a mask or feeling nervous about talking to someone who's less than a few meters away from you, but I think that given enough time, things will probably get back to normal if the COVID-19 pandemic does come to an end.
Yeah, I want to say I really agree with what Artash just talked about. I think I would still be pretty scared to go out after the pandemic without my mask on. It just seems like such a habit to go outside, and whenever you're like outside, you would be wearing a mask. I think for COVID-19, when it started, it really changed my lifestyle a lot. I think just like over a long period of time, I've gotten used to staying at home, and I think without being in school 5 days a week and for like more than half of your daytime, actually, it made my schedule a lot more unorganized and unstructured, and that really changed kind of my lifestyle as well. And I've got more time on my hands as well, since we don't have to commute to my school, which right now it's actually pretty far away from me. So I've got more time to just like stay at home. And I think we've also all gotten pretty used to the whole new technology platform and everything like Zoom. We're probably all experts at all the features right now. I think it really kind of sped up that virtual learning or kind of use of technology, both in like everyday life as well, and also in a school environment. Because like before, I guess people thought it wasn't really possible to have school online, and it's not really the best way for teachers to educate students. But we've gone a year with virtual learning, so I think that really made a change on education as well. So yeah.
I think people will definitely think twice after taking seeing people and seeing their family and their friends for granted, because of this whole experience. I mean, me, for example, I've spent like the whole year, I haven't seen anyone since New Year's or more. And like now when you see people, it's like, oh wow, it's been so long. And so I think definitely that sort of thing, but also in maybe the sense of freedom when one can leave, because it, like, staying at home is necessary, and I would completely do it again if there was another virus, because it's safety precautions and everyone needs to do it. But in the sense of like freedom when you can go out with your friends and see everyone is sort of something that people did take for granted, and me included, and now it's like we can go out again, really? So yeah.
I think the COVID-19 pandemic has done a lot of bad in the world, but it has also had some good effects. Like, I think right now, many people are learning to embrace their creative side, like pursue new skills, like maybe playing a musical instrument, or maybe starting art, or maybe just learning a new hobby. And I personally think that with this pandemic, I've pursued new hobbies that I think I would have never pursued if I hadn't gotten this opportunity, like free time during this COVID pandemic, like playing the violin. I think I just picked that up after middle school. And I think the COVID-19 pandemic has really helped people in a mental way to really adapt to new abilities.
And this pandemic had like a good impact and a bad impact. Talking about the good one, like as everyone said, we had time to spend with our family. Like we were busy with our schedules, schools, and many things. So we didn't like have the time to be with our family. So this was the main thing. Like I felt because I was chilling out with my family. We were playing games together. We were having like fun whole day. Earlier everyone we used to be like on the in their rooms, and nobody used to like in like having dinner only we would get together, else everybody would be busy with their own stuff. But now we like stay together. And the bad impact I had was like during lockdown I had a lot of like leisure time, and that made me watch lots and lots of web series and like movies. I spend most of the time because on weekends you are just simply free, no school, 5 day week. So that was the bad impact because I started watching a lot of things. Yeah.
Hey, Julie, I think you're still muted.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that's one of the things I've enjoyed most about the pandemic is I've had time to watch things that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. So interesting how it's different for the different generations. Can anybody else think of anything that they're going to truly miss if COVID went away tomorrow? What aspect might you miss of it? And maybe there isn't any.
Yeah, for sure. There are things there, of course, there's a lot of things that negative effects of COVID-19, but there are also some things that may have opened room for new opportunities for people. So for example, previously when I gave presentations about my projects anywhere, I used to either present them for conferences in my city of Toronto or very once in a while travel to somewhere else to give a talk. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's pretty much opened the doors for anyone to be able to participate in any event. Like, look at us here. We're from several different countries just together in a Zoom meeting. So it's definitely opened up the room for so much more collaboration, especially on the global side, because being online means you're not really restricted as much so as by your location in the world. Another thing I'll miss on the education side of things is so school. While school is not as effective as before, it's still nice to be able to have some freedom of what you learn. Because before, what you learned in class and what your education was part of was very much dictated by your school. But now, schools, I think, in my opinion, or as far as I've seen, they're being a little bit more flexible of what you want to learn about, and you have more time during the day to pursue opportunities and interests of your choice. And I think that's something that's really important, because if you get started at a younger age, then you'll be able to build up much more expertise by the time you grow up and decide what you want to start doing. So that's definitely something I'll miss after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. I'm curious as to what you all as a group have planned for the future, or maybe you haven't yet. But if you have, I'd be real interested to know what your thoughts are on staying in communication with each other, and maybe initiatives you're thinking about working on together, if there are any.
I think I should start. So I'm looking forward, like we did this time, we had like audience opinions also. So I'm looking forward to it more. Like this time we had like not that much audience, but we had the audience. So the next time I'm like looking forward to have engaging more audience, and like I am thinking for like we should have like more team panels, because the more we have, the more knowledge we gain. So yeah.
And when are you talking about having more teen panels as this group together?
Yeah, more team panels and more team panelists also, because it would be like more nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it could also stem from this team panel, like in future events where this team panel will take part in. There could be more panelists, and one of the panelists of the original team panel leads them all, or we're all here. It can really be like we can lead it on to other people that want to participate, because we've been in like the original, I think. So it can be like I don't know, how could you explain it? Like we could be leading the next team panels, and then they lead the next team panel, and then that team panel leads the next team panel, and sort of like paying it forward.
Global domination. And that's kind of what you did last weekend, Emily Louise.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. But other than that, it can also like be an umbrella for team panels in the countries of each panelists. I mean, there could be a team panel in Canada, or a team panel in India, or a team panel in the US. For example, I led the team panel of Latin America, and it was very interesting because as I had participated in the original team panel, I was able to see the different dynamics and the different opinions, and how different it was, speaking a completely different language. And it was a very enriching experience to be able to lead all the people that were participating in that team panel.
And by the way, you did a very good job. Very impressed.
Thank you.
I just let all of you know, anytime you want to replace Julie and myself, please, we would love to be replaced.
By the way, Emily Louise, your teen panel recording is up on the website now. If you go to the Global Innovation Field Trip, on the homepage near the top right, where you can click on the different months, you'll find April. I've only got about half of the recordings up there, but one of the ones I have up there is your teen panel. I've got to say, I could not understand anything you guys were saying, but you were clearly leading and in control of the event, and it looked great. So I'm looking forward to the translation soon because I hear it was fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you'll be able to listen to it because although we were talking about similar topics than we did in the original team panel, so education, like quality of education, because of there were so many different opinions. I mean, people had completely different opinions to the ones we had in the original team panel, because it wasn't that much international. I mean, it was international because there were people of different countries, but they were all in the same continent. They were all in South America. And so, I think there was one person from Central America. Anyway, so the thing is that the opinions were really close. They were closer than they were when we did the original team panel, because the countries were so similar, and in a way yet so different, because people had completely different ways of living through a pandemic, and because of the same situations in these countries, they had sort of the same experiences. So it was very interesting that.
Well, it's wonderful to be able to give you all a voice, and you are the voices that people should be listening to now, and that you're passing that on and paying that forward, Emily Louise. And I'm sure everybody else in here will do the same by giving other students a voice. I mean, it's all of those voices count, every one of them. So what else do you want to share before we close the podcast tonight? You are also very polite.
I think maybe one field that we haven't touched upon yet is the concept of global cooperation, and how youth discussions like this can play a role in that. Because lately it's been pretty obvious that global cooperation and collaboration has been a pretty big failure. So before COVID-19, or it may have seemed that global cooperation was getting better with new agencies such as the United Nations and other treaties bringing countries together. But honestly, COVID-19 has showed us that global cooperation is not yet to the level that can make it work yet. Like COVID-19 itself is it's not a major catastrophe. Of course, it's caused a lot of damage, but on if you rate it on a scale, it's not as bad, for example, as an asteroid strike. But it's been failing at a pretty high level. Like just recently, the United States of America has stopped exporting the supplies that India uses to make vaccines because they want to prioritize America first. But India is sharing vaccines with the whole world. So by ceasing exports to India, they're slowing down the vaccination campaign of the whole world. And this is just one example. There are numerous examples of how countries are being really self-centered during this COVID-19 pandemic, like the patenting of the vaccines, for example. Uh, so that's definitely something that needs to change, because if tomorrow an even bigger catastrophe happens, we're definitely not prepared to face it. And to tell the truth, these catastrophes can only be handled if the whole world is unified as one. And I think having youth discussions like this on a table where we can converse politely and diplomatically about these issues is really important. And another really important thing to do would be to expand this to the next dimension. Not just talking, but also action is really important, because while we can't build the tree, we can still plant the seed. And maybe not all the seeds will actually grow into trees, but if we plant enough seeds, then one tree will emerge stronger than all the others. And I think starting things like this is a really important step in the whole process.
If anything, I mean, this experience has really shown that we can work as a group with people from different countries. I mean, I did the first team panel, and I learned how to talk with other people without being disrespectful, and being able to collaborate. And then when I participated in the water challenge, I was able to participate with people in and not like interrupt and not be disrespectful. And it was a learning curve, because we all learned, I think, from this experience how to collaborate. And I think it was it's really good, because if we can do it, I mean, certainly other people can do it as well. I know that sounds sort of like, well, if we can do it, but really, I mean, other people can learn from this and can learn how to collaborate, because you would think collaborating with people from all around the world would be super complicated, and you would need people translating and everything. But really, once if everyone knows the language, which is quite hard for everyone to know the language, but if everyone knows the language and everyone is being respectful, you can get to one solution. You can get to the point of your conversation where you really don't need someone to be saying stop this, that, because it just flows naturally and it's collaborative and very interesting.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on very quickly. I agree with what you said, Emily. I think it was really nice to see during all of the sessions, actually, of the team panel, where we just added on, built on top of each other's ideas. And that was an amazing process to see, because, for example, one person comes up with maybe a vague idea, a general idea, and then someone pops in and talks about their perspective and their opinions about that idea, and we just build it into an even more solid plan and a very detailed idea. And that was an amazing process to see. And of course, thanks to this great collaborative environment that we have built, we were really able to communicate respectfully with each other, and also this really effective way to come up with ideas and solutions.
Okay. I want to ask you what you need from us. And maybe that's too big a question. If we can help you move forward, we want to know how we can help you move forward as a group or individually. One of the things that is easy to offer you is this podcast format. I mean, Jake and I podcast, usually it's once a week. And we have young innovators on our show, and we have organizations that sponsor or inspire and promote innovation. But we offer this to you as well. If you want to do any type of podcast, whether it's with groups or whether it's with just individuals, I'm happy to open up the time to you, and we can run it through our podcast channel. So if you come up with creative ideas that you feel like you want to be able to share with people, we're happy to make that available for you. And outside of that, what else can we do for you? We being Innovation World, Invent Future Global, and all of the other people that help support those efforts.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can think of ways of how, but it's not, I guess, only about supporting us, I guess, because it's a bit, if by gathering other students like us, for example, to have these discussions, just like we're having, then the more students we have inside this whole thing, then the more discussions that can happen, and the more students can get educated and discuss about these topics. And by doing that, I think our goals are also being reached. So definitely expanding this and giving voices to students who may or may not have a voice is definitely something really important that would in turn benefit our goals as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also think just getting the word out there really is, even that small, like telling one of your friends about it is really can make a difference, because once you tell someone and you're passionate about something and you tell them and you say, this is really interesting, spread the word along, a lot more people get involved. So we started this teen panel with 6 teens. And imagine if people that watched the Global Innovation Field Trip started telling their friends about it, and then those friends told the other friends, and then those friends told other friends, and then there would be so many more people involved. And it would, like with 6 teens, you only have it's the opinion of loads of people and they all matter, but it's only the opinion of 6 countries. I mean, imagine if in the future we got like 15 countries involved or 20 countries involved. It would make a very, very, very big impact, and such a big impact. So I really do think that even if it's just a small action, like telling your friends, hey, I saw this event, next time I'll give you the link, don't miss it, it's really interesting. And then they'll watch it the next time and they'll do the same thing for their friends. That small action can really make a difference.
There should be a United Nations, but instead of adults, have youth representatives from each country. I think that might be a lot more productive.
Yeah, I think we've shown on this teen panel that it can be a lot more productive. I mean, we came up with a whole other like education website or network last time on our last meeting in the teen panel, didn't we? Like the whole new system. So really, if we can do that in like, what was it, an hour and a half, who knows what we can do with a dedicated like 2 hours and a half or more. Like, whoa. Or like meeting once a week. Whoa.
Right? I don't want to get controversial, but I've always thought if kids were in charge of the world, it might be a whole different place.
Oh, I
Yeah.
totally agree.
We do bring a new, much younger perspective to everything. People who would think things that are sometimes quite conservative or quite dated. That's quite controversial. Sorry. Anyway, we might think a complete opposite. And the thing is, if there's just a group of people that are 70 or over talking about something, they're never going to get the opinion of someone that's younger and that has more different experiences on these topics. And so having young people talk about it, just wow, it's very interesting, very enriching. There we go.
Very good. Well, I think that we're going to have to continue this discussion over and over and invite more people is what I'm hearing you say. And that sounds like a winning recipe to me. So are you guys already scheduled to come back to the July gift? Are you working on that? Is this group planning to be on that gift and bring a friend? You can call it Bring a Friend Day.
I would like to expand, no offense to this group, but and you've made the same comments. I'd like to bring in some new people, some fresh blood, different opinions.
Great idea.
But we want to try and get people from other countries. So don't talk to the person living next to you.
Yeah. And I think if you're there, because you guys already broke the ice together and you've gotten past that little bit of uncomfortable feeling. And I think if you're in that discussion, it'll bring other people along even more quickly because they'll see you interacting. So I think it's perfect that you guys, that you arrange to do this again and that you or we can help find additional people to bring in from other countries. I mean, you don't have to do all of that unless you happen to know people who are interested, but otherwise we can recruit individuals that you can welcome into the group. Okay.
And I don't think that's like only within the teen panel, but also like privately in the teen panel, we can share in different events and things within this group of 6 teens. Like I was going to send an email, never got around to it, but like imagine we made a WhatsApp group and we had different events that were also global and we shared it and then they shared it. It can also make a network within the 6 teens that we don't necessarily have to join the gift each month to talk about them, but like that. Wow, I'm getting a bit off the topic. Yeah, sorry.
No, absolutely. But if you do things like that and you want to share it, you're always welcome to come share it and further your cause or further your initiatives. Always welcome to.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the more people from the more countries that are involved in it, the more different perspectives we will have, and that means that the solutions that people come up with will be at a much more global scale, and we'll be able to benefit everyone, not just a certain country or place.
Well, I thank you all for joining us this evening. I've taken a lot of your time, but I really appreciate it. I think this was a wonderful discussion, and I look forward to many more with you or listening to many more that you participate in. And please go out there and listen to Emily Louise's work she did on the weekend with her group. You'll find that information on the globalinnovationfieldtrip.org website. You can go to the presenters page. That might be the easiest way to find it, and click on the April gift to find that, and many, many more wonderful interviews with young innovators from across the world. And to each of you, thank you so much for joining this panel, either in your early morning or in your late evening. And we will see you all soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.